How much would $100,000 change your life? Well, I'd be able to buy one half of an apartment. A ton. Could pay off all debt and put a very nice down payment on a house. Would make the mortgage manageable. It'd let me live my modest dream of having a decent home and a dog, without worrying if I could afford it. Not a huge house even, maybe just a townhome. It would let me retire, semi-retire substantially earlier. I'd be able to afford my own apartment instead of living with 3 PPL. I'd be able to focus more on building my life instead of just trying to survive every day. I'd be able to donate to charities and less fortunate PPL in my area. Overall, it would make my life less stressful and make me feel like less of a failure. Dude, that's almost 7 years worth of insulin. Can you imagine not having to wonder how you were going to manage your life-threatening disease for 7, well, technically 6.9 years? God. I could actually put money toward my future rather than trying desperately to stay alive in the present. If the current rate of inflation continues, and if I am lucky enough to live until 75, I will have spent over $7 million on insulin alone, not including other absurdly expensive diabetic supplies, like test strips, that are absolutely necessary for my survival. Just for some context, each test strip, without insurance, runs you around $1.50–$75 for a 50-pack of strips, and as someone who leads an active lifestyle and is insulin sensitive, I need to check my blood sugar roughly 6 to 8 times a day, more if I'm sick or an unforeseen event occurs that affects my blood glucose levels. It's fucking criminal what my country is allowing to happen to type 1 diabetics like myself. It would pay off my husband's student loans and some medical bills that he has left, pay off my dental bill, pay off our credit cards, and then maybe we could get some upkeep, fix-it stuff done around the house. The rest would go into savings. We'd have a good amount of money freed up each month, and that would also go into savings. So, really, $100,000 would change my life by finally giving me a decent savings account that could be used in the future to hopefully avoid debt. It would be a very nice thing to have. Are you offering? Probably wouldn't change much. I'd probably use it to reno my kitchen and replace my windows. It would increase my retirement savings, but wouldn't change my day-to-day life. 30 years from now, that $100,000 could grow to a cool $1 mill, though. Might finally be able to buy a house. So freaking much. I would be able to move with my partner to a new province instead of having to stay behind and continue living with my parents so I can save to move. It's like a really good down payment or like 3.5 years salary. A highly significant change but not world-shattering. It would change my life and all my family's lives. Well, I could divorce, put aside money for retirement, have enough to get a nice apartment or a house I could afford on my own for me and the kids. So while not millions, the money would have significant impact on my mental health. I doubt I would want to kill myself weekly like I usually do. Not that much. I'd be debt-free and have about $95,000 left over. So it would be significant. A lot. I'd be able to quit my job, move across the country and start my own business. Massively. I could pay off all of my debt and most of my mortgage. My wife could choose to stop working if she wanted to and I could get a much less physically demanding job. That amount of money would be huge for us. Change everything. Considering that $1 is about $3.20 here where I live, that would be great and it would make my family's life easier. I could get a new car, but the rest I'd want to save. I'm in college, what do I need besides money to make it through and get a career? Once I'm out though, King SZIE race car bed. I can pay for chemo for the next 5 years. Would definitely help me pay off college. Buy higher quality drugs. 1. 10K in Bitcoin. 2. 10K in equity fund. 3. 70K on a 1-bed apartment. 4. 10K on renovating apartment. 5. Wait 5 to 10 years. 6. Profit. It would remove some stress, that's for sure. A shitload. I could give my kids a better life, for sure. I'll buy a house. Enough of paying damn rent. So I'll pay most of it, like $80K, for the house, and keep paying the rest monthly as if I'm paying rent, until the house is mine. And the rest 20k to improve my current lifestyle, or I'll invest it. And I keep thinking seriously about it, although I'm not getting a cent of the 100k that I've already decided how to spend. Closing parenthesis. I would put it into a SP 500 fund for the next 10 years, hoping to double it. I'd continue my current savings path as well. I'm starting over after divorce, so it would help. In 10 years I'd then buy my home cash and join the union and skate through the rest of my life. I'd have $100,230 right now. Well, I'm in my 20s, disabled, and have $20,000 in credit card debt from paying my rent, etc. after I got sick and had to stop working. So, $20,000 to debt. Now it gets tricky. Can't work, so no income, and no retirement savings. Pretty much anything responsible I could do with the remaining $80,000 would then disqualify me from receiving assistance I need now, and will need in the future. I'd pretty much have to give it to my dad and have anything valuable put in his name. Literally, owning a car can disqualify you from getting services you need to survive. You're expected to liquefy everything and be entirely destitute. Who cares if you can never work again? You have $2,000 to your name, which we will not allow you to save or invest in your future without punishing you. It would add $100,000 to my net worth. I'd get more than 4.5 hours of sleep every day for working 2 jobs to pay for my grandma's bills, but more importantly, my grandma will have all of her medical bills paid and whatever is still coming can be covered. In general, it would be more than life-changing. I won't go too into detail, but yeah, I am scared I might get a heart attack if I would get that amount of money, as it would change more than my own life. Immediately? Not much at all. I'd pay off all my debt. Take a chunk out of the house I am about to sign on. The monthly savings, however, would really allow me to change my life though. Not much, honestly. Would quit my job and just fucking rock climb and fish every day. Not sure. Buying property and building a small house somewhere remote is what I dream of, but that's still expensive. Buy my house. Boom, no rent, then I'm rolling in that cash. I would be close to being able to buy a house. Would pay for literally 1/5 of my daughter's schooling. That's more money than I have spent the last 10 years. So, life-altering to say the least. I would live alone. Allow me to go to school worry-free for an entire degree. Pretty substantially changing, I'd say. It would not change mine much, but I would change quite a few others. In almost every aspect. I wouldn't move, but everything would change. Not feeling like I've fucked up every last shred of everything would be a start. I'd be playing Cyberpunk on max settings. My brother's house would be $100,000 cheaper. I could move out after I finish high school. My household is pretty toxic and I have no interest in staying in touch with my family after I move out. I wouldn't have to deal with moving rooms every 4 to 8 months. My dad would not need to work 6 days a week, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. anymore. I could retire in 20 years instead of 30. Ask me when I sell my house for twice what I paid in a couple months. I would be able to buy a house. I am 24 and I've already saved quite a bit, but can't get a proper mortgage on one salary. I'm very frugal, so it'd last me 2 years and allow me to continue staying at home with my young kids instead of working. Especially since I'm in a custody battle with my ex and they need help with the trauma. Maybe use what's left for therapy and learning play therapy to help my kids. Man, I could focus on my health instead of worrying about my job, and such less stress would probably have health benefits as well. Totally life-changing. Would be debt-free, which would be nice. I'm transgender, and I'd be able to start the process of medically transitioning by going to see a gender specialist in order to start HRT. After that, which would most likely take a year or more, I'd be able to start looking into surgery options. I can't do any of this right now because I live with my family, and even if I was out, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that they'd be okay with their insurance covering any of my transitioning, so $100,000 would allow me to just pay for it all out of pocket. I could go to college. It would give me more comfort. I could pay down my debt, create the comic book I've always wanted to publish, and invest in my family's future. I'd be debt-free and I'd be able to get my teeth fully fixed. A holy lot. A lot than I thought it would have. I'd finally be able to afford a house. I'd be able to pay all my debts and have money left over for a deposit on a small house. Would actually own a home. No other way it happens. Insanely. I'm 19 and I'd be able to pay for university, pay for my car and help my parents who are on the streets get back on their feet and get my siblings out of foster care. All debt gone and a nice down payment on a good house. I'd be living the dream. I would buy at least 2 more houses to rent out. So it would make me money. I would not put it toward any debt. Servicing that just fine, and when I die, someone will sort it. I'm in HS, so it'd make a big difference for college. Just £1,000 would significantly change my life for the better. £100,000 is unimaginable. Completely, utterly, totally, wonderfully. I had the opportunity to find out recently. Honestly, not much changed except maybe I feel a tiny bit more security. I'd have that surgery where you remove some ribs so you can fillet yourself. ITT. People listing the most touching stories and reasons due to the tiny chance that the person asking, or someone else reading the thread, might be generous and rich enough to hand out $100,000. I'd make my ducking life. Don't listen to these guys. Give me the money. Nothing spectacular other than being debt-free 5 years earlier than planned. Just more money for retirement. That's all. Business as usual. Not that much. I'd be able to pay off my student loans, which would increase his disposable income, but not by so much to make a huge difference. I wish someone would give it to me so that I could find out. I would move out of my parents' basement. 5 to 6 years of rent while I get my Ph.D. sounds pretty fantastic. Thanks for watching. See you later.